Well, ooh, good evening. That looks a little dark on my end. I'm going to make a correction here. There we go, right? We'll just keep it. That is what it is, right? Well, I got two of you here, so we will give it a moment and see who else pops in. So I almost said Saturday night. Wow. Another Tuesday night, right? Still got Saturdays in my brain. Well, I guess it is actually kind of like my Saturday, so. Let's see. Oh, there we are. There's my chat. So we will see who is here. Hopefully you guys pop in here a little bit and check in. And I about slipped off my chair. Wow, what a week. That's the way it's been. So who is on this evening? I'm kind of curious. I got two people, so I could have more for all I know. So, and it's all from YouTube. Interesting. That's never how that works out. Oh, okay. I thought maybe for some odd reason we were not on Facebook and maybe it was disconnected, but we are good. So, like I said, we are going to talk about camera bags. So I love bags. I don't think there is never enough camera bags in the world for me, and I'm always looking at bags, but like I need me more. So hopefully a few people will hop on here momentarily, but we will get started. Oh, that's funny. Speaking of camera bags, I just got an email about camera bags from Paul's Photo. So, like I said, we'll get started here. So there we are. So, let's switch this screen up a little bit because I don't like that mode. There we are. So carrying your gear, camera bag essentials. I don't think we're going to be here all evening, but it's going to be, I think, a short one. But camera bags are kind of important if you really think about it. They're one of those things that whether you're carrying gear around or you're got just gear sitting at home, it's probably in a bag or some type of bag or some type of, I should say, receptacle. That sounds like a garbage can, but something that it gets stored in, right? To keep dust, dirt off of, protection from rain, all that good stuff while you're out there. So let's see here. So yeah, it's one of those things that I think a lot of people overlook. It's one of those things that a lot of people, when buying a new camera, they kind of budget little to nothing for a bag. They're just like, I need a bag to put it in. I used to hear that at the store all the time. You need a bag to put it in. It doesn't need to be fancy. It doesn't need to do this. And then eventually, depending on how far you get into photography, you'll start finding things like, okay, this bag, I've outgrown it way too quick, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But it's one of those things that you will grow with you. And we'll talk about, let's just get into that then. Got that already there. So, getting ahead of myself. So, for tonight, I'm going to talk about you get what you pay for, styles of camera bags, because there's so many. I'm just going to kind of hit a few of the main kind of popular ones. And then choosing the right bag. Like, how do you choose a bag? What's right? What do I need? Brands. People always ask me, what are the brands? I'll show you some brands that aren't bad, good, nothing like dirt cheap. And then my favorite styles and kind of some of the favorite brands that I use. So let's hop on to the next one. So I don't know, whoever's on YouTube, I might have some people on Facebook too, for all I know, and it's just lying to me. But if you want, comment so then I know who it is. Always curious to see who is on. So, like I said, this won't be like terribly a long evening, but I thought, hey, why not talk about camera bags? Because this is something I think we overlook at. We see camera bag reviews and like, what's the best bag? But nobody ever talks about picking a bag, that I see anyway. So you get what you pay for, right? I mean, that's with anything, right? You buy something really cheap, usually it's not going to last very long. There's the mentality of people will say, well, I'll buy this bag for $20. That bag's $300 or $200. I can buy a whole bunch of bags, right? Well, that's true, but what's going to happen? Hey, Rick. Yes, it's always a good topic, right? Like I said, hey, Tom, I had not seen you. Tom says, I do have a question about carrying my camera in the front seat of the car. I want quick access, but I need it not to fall off the seat if I hit the brakes. Oh, yes, when we start talking about bags here, well, let me talk about how I do it. So I've got one of many, whatever bags I'm going to use. But the one for me that I have really good luck with, and it's only because it's probably the size. So my passenger seat of the truck, I don't push it all the way back. It's kind of mostly pushed forward because most people don't sit there. And for me, I have a hard case. I have not used my hard case in a really long time. About 2 years ago, I was looking at some hard cases. I love Pelican. I didn't put that on here. I should have tonight. But I had Pelican. When I was at PhotoPro, I love Pelican brand cases. They're built like a tank. You can beat them to hell and back. I've seen them travel thousands of miles over their lifespan, and they get beat up, and UPS, FedEx, and everything comes out great. But I didn't want to pay the price. I don't like them because they're heavy sometimes, right? And when you're lugging things around, and it's not the most economical, or I should say outside of economical, the easiest to transport. Once we kind of get onto some other bags here, and I've got pros and cons of those bags in a minute. But so I was trying to find something that wasn't dirt cheap. It wasn't like, if you go to Harbor Freight, you can get some really okay hard cases. But the problem is they have pluck and pull foam. I don't like pluck and pull foam. I think it's crappy. I like the cases that have, Pelican does them. The case that I bought that was kind of like not super expensive, not super cheap, was a company from Canada called Nanook. They make injection molded cases like Pelican. And I wanted the Pelican Air series, which was super light. But still is very sturdy, durable, because you don't have the weight like most Pelicans do. So my Nanook case will actually, when the seat is where it is in my truck, fits pretty close between my glove compartment box and the seat. And then it obviously opens up. So I keep it in my passenger seat, and there's just a little bit of space. So if I do have to hit the brakes, it doesn't really move a lot. It doesn't shift. So that's how I keep mine from sliding off, because it's a fairly big case. The other thing, though, is it unclips and then the case flips over. So I work out of it. So if I've got everything here and I see a photo I'm going to stop to take or whatever, I can actually work out of my passenger seat. Or if I have a lot of gear, I'll work out of the back seat of my truck. Hard cases are great for that, or any type of, any bag will do. I've even done this before, where I will take my bag when it's like laying down, and I've run the seatbelt through like maybe the backpack straps or the handle on top. I'll run it through and clip it in. If I do hit the brakes, in theory, if I hit them hard enough, obviously, your seatbelt's going to lock up, then it doesn't slide off. So hopefully that answers your question. But yeah, that's one way to do it. So kind of jumping back into the realm of you get what you pay for, is you don't need to go spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a camera bag. You can. You don't have to. But at the same time, you don't want to buy the cheap crap from Amazon, because people say, well, I can buy 5 bags for the price of the one expensive bag. But what I will tell you is you will spend, in the end, $200 on all those 5 other bags, because the zippers will break, they'll split, load them up enough, the stitching's probably going to come out where the straps are. I'd rather say have an okay bag that you have, save up your money, and buy a good bag at some point, and then you'll never have to buy another bag, really, because they kind of go with you. And I'll talk about a brand here in a little bit that I like, but you get what you pay for on the money. And so don't buy something dirt cheap, but you don't need to go out and buy a Rolls Royce of camera bags. You really don't. You can if you want. But the other thing is quality, right? I kind of just touched on that. Like, even some of them are like the padding, right? A bag is meant to protect it, right? So you'll get some of these bags that are dirt cheap from the interwebs that are just subpar, crappy nylon. The stitching comes out, and then it's very crappy, thin foam. It's not going to have a good quality product in the sense of build and design, because Think Tank's my favorite bag, and that's not because I have a link or anything. I have a link through them that is like I'm an affiliate for them, but I'm only an affiliate for them because I've used their crap for ages, and I'll show you some later. But their stuff's built really, really well. They use the YKK, I think, as their YKK zippers. They're heavy-duty zippers. I've never had, knock on wood, a zipper break. Things like that. because they're built out of good quality material. They're designed to be efficient. A good camera bag has got good design, like it's got thought process put in behind, like when you need to access stuff, things like that. Where cheap bags, to me, they unzip. They're like somebody just took innards from a camera bag and just stuffed it into a backpack or whatever style it is. I don't think they're always that great. The other thing is time. Their longevity is ridiculously long. I've had a bag that I bought 10 years ago. That was a Think Tank bag at PhotoPro. I still use it. It's been drugged through the ringer. It's been stuffed in overhead bins of airplanes. It's been stuffed under seats. It still works. It acts like it's brand new still. I have no issues with it because it's, again, quality. It was about a $200 camera bag. So, I mean, yeah, it's not going to be, a $79 bag. But the other thing is warranty, right? The warranty. Like, cheap bags don't have warranties. Usually good bags have at least a 1-year warranty. Good example being Think Tank. I read, what was it, a couple of years ago, somebody said, commented on Facebook and said, hey guys, how do I get replacement wheels for my airport roller bag? I travel thousands of miles a year, and the rubber on my wheels have worn down and they broke and they're no good anymore. And they're like, don't worry about it. We'll just send you another set of wheels to install yourself. That's like a $400 camera bag the guy had, right? They could have said, that sucks. You wore it out. Here's 5% off a new one, or you should buy a new one. Or guess what? I'm going to charge you $79.99 for a set of wheels, right? They could. So a lot of these companies, when they stand behind their products, are going to offer you things or give you things that are going to help keep the longevity of the bag. Because if they're starting to get known for crappy bags, and no one's going to buy them, right? And quality suffers, and it's things like that. So you don't need to buy an expensive one. You get what you pay for in quality of just build, longevity of ages and ages and ages. Things just kind of, last longer, and they don't last as long when you have a crappy bag. And then the warranty. I mean, it's kind of one of those things. So it's just, there's so much I think we don't think about when we're looking at a camera bag in general. So let's look at styles. So now I'm going to kind of talk about styles of camera bags that you're probably familiar with, things like that. But hey, at least, and I'll talk about pros and cons of each. And I've probably at one point have seen, I've been around oodles of camera bags over the years at PhotoPro, and being pitched bag after bag after bag after bag from sales reps. And it's nuts how many different types of bags are out there. Everybody seems to make a bag, things like that. So backpacks. This is probably your most common bag, right? Everybody has a backpack, right? Lots of pros, a little bit of cons, but right, there's nothing ever going to fall in the full, nothing's wrong with this bag, which I'll get to here in the end. When I start at the end wrap up, I'll talk about a few things. So if you got questions on anything, like Tom did, pop them up in the chat still, and we'll go from there. But the one thing that's nice with a backpack is, right, it's on your back. Your hand's free. You can carry your camera. You can fiddle with it. You've got all this stuff, right? They have varying levels of capacity. You can get like Think Tank and Low Pro. Those guys, they make the same bag style in different bags. Like you'll see the 15 liter and the 25 liter and the 30 or the 40 or whatever. They got varying sizes, right? Same bag, same style, build quality, all that. They're just offering different sizes because, one, you might not need a bag it's this big, right? And to hold one lens if it's your first camera, right? Which I'll talk about some bag things here in a little bit for future proofing. But they got different capacities. A couple, I wouldn't say it's the same bag in two different capacity of how much it will hold, but I've got similar bags. I don't need to take the biggest bag sometimes because I don't need to take all the crap that's in it, which I'll get into in a minute with the cons of the backpack. But your weight is distributed. That's what I love about a backpack. If you have a backpack correctly set up, and not just throw it on as it comes out of the box per se from the store, loosen it up, make sure it's, fits you well, and it's going to distribute that weight over your shoulders and down on your hips, and then it makes carrying a lot more heavy gear a lot more enjoyable. But eventually, I don't care how thick the pads. That's the other thing with backpacks is you get some cheap ass bags and your straps are like this thick. After a while, they start to dig in and they hurt because there's not a lot of padding. Good brands, Lowepro, Tenba, Think Tank, they all got really nice thick ones. Now, eventually, those start to hurt too, and you got to take a break. But you can go long, longevity-wise if you're out photographing, especially if you're hiking. You know, you get a good bag, it's going to be comfortable while you're hiking around. They are, again, comfortable, more comfortable than other styles of bags because again, that weight is more distributed across your shoulders and all that good stuff. I wondered, Connie, it says you couldn't find me on Facebook Live and joined on YouTube. I was wondering, that's probably why we only have like 3 people tonight. Yeah, nobody is on Facebook. I don't think it's connected to Facebook. That is probably why. I'm going to look at something real quick. That's super annoying because that is not the first time it's happened. Is Paul on here? I don't know if Paul's on here. That's really weird because Paul just liked it. Oh, I just saw your message. That's really weird. Odd. It's probably why no one's on here. They probably think I'm not on here. Yeah. Gotta love technology, right? Ooh, you know what? I have an idea. Let me look at something. Oh, because it didn't connect, and I guarantee you I know why. I changed the name of my Facebook page, if you didn't notice that recently. Well, that's probably why. Well, I'm glad we figured that out. Oh, man. I guess I'll just download this and repost it later. Oh, well. Back to that, right? Troubleshooting backpacks, as Dora the Explorer would say. So it's great for like storing your equipment when it's not in use, right? You go to the field, you take your photos, you pack all your crap up, you throw it in your backpack. And mine hangs on a hook on my wall. I don't have to take like my hard case. I have to take things out of it, or I got to put it into another bag. If I decide on a whim to go out and take photos, I grab the backpack off the wall. My tripod sits right next to it now, hung up on a clip that I put up there last week too. And it's all right there, and I leave. Everything is good to go then. So it's one of those things, right? It's all there. You come out of the field, it's done. It's packed up. You don't have to take things out of the bag and put it away. Like I know some people who store their lenses on shelves and all that weird crap. You got to put it in a bag, right, and take it out. Here, it's all in the case, right? Now, with every good thing is bad things. And the problem with a backpack is it can be slow to access your equipment, right? Because I need to change a lens. Take the bag off, set it on the ground. Now, if you have the older style backpack, the front zips, you flop the floppy thing over the front of the bag and you get your crap. And everything's blurry. Oh my, this is just not a good night, is it? Hey, Corey. I have no clue what's going on tonight because I'm like lickety-split clear as clear can be on my end. My. Has anybody else got a blurry issue? Man, it's like every several months I got an issue. Oh, well, I'm just going to keep going. And then what happens is it's just slow. You got to take the bag off, put it back on, right? And then access gear, and you're like, I don't want this lens. You got to take it back off. Now, the newer bags, for security purposes, is if you're out carrying, you can't access the gear from the back side of the bag. It's on your back part. That's what I love. My Mind Shift bag over here from Think Tank is that way. I think every bag I have, except one, is that way now. Connie says mine's clear. Who knows? Technology. But the other thing is that we run into is we jam every piece of thing we've got in that bag, and now they get stupid heavy. I've had the same issue. You know, you get 3 or 4 lenses in there, and you get all your accessories and filters, and then you're like, I got more room, I'm going to stuff more stuff in here, right? And then guess what happens? Nope. It's too heavy to carry now. So then you got problems there. The other thing is they can become uncomfortable with long periods of activity. That's with any bag. I don't care what bag it is. I've not had one bag ever be like, ooh, this is super light all the time. My back doesn't hurt. It's anything, anytime you got weight on your shoulders all the time, eventually it's going to hurt, right? So just the way it works. But the backpack is probably going to be your most popular kind of thing, right? I mean, you're not going to have any. You go and type in camera bag, and backpacks are probably going to be the first time, right? It's just the most popular choice for most. I mean, I think out of all my camera bags, I've got a lot. I about say 90% of them are backpacks because it's easy. Grab it by the top handle, throw it on the shoulders. Very easy, accessible in the sense of I can grab it, get out of the truck. Problem is if I decide to go hike somewhere and I have the Nanook hard case, I usually throw just an empty camera bag in the back seat just in case I decide to take gear out of that case, but we'll talk about those in a minute. So, right, backpack. This is just one of the think tanks. This is one of their bigger ones, but just to give you an idea, like look how much crap you can stuff in that thing, right? Oh, I got the same picture on there twice. Oh, well. But, you know, you can put other things in the backpack too, right? A lot of people are into video and stills now. So you can put some video equipment in there, the drones, things like that. So what I like about it is you can leave a lens on the body too and run it down the middle. The other thing is when we're talking about quality of bags is down that center, you'll see there's Think Tank and other good brands. Those middle divider, like it comes up and then Y's out, that is usually like heavy duty, reinforced, super thick, because that gives structure to the bag. When those are crappy, that's when you start getting bags. You'll see that they like kind of collapse in. They don't hold shape. It's because the internal components aren't keeping shape with the bag. That's why when you get a good one, you don't have to worry about that. But there's a million different styles of backpacks out there. That's the other thing is when you get into things. Here's another one. I own this one. This is the Mindshift. So Mindshift used to be, it's, I think, own standalone company, and I think Think Tank acquired them. I could be totally wrong on that. But I actually have this bag. Probably not the bag that most people need, but I'll tell you why I love this bag. So a couple of years ago, I went to Badlands back in 21. So it had been the year after COVID. I went up to Badlands to camp. And I wanted this bag, like bad. The bag brand new is about $400 because I wanted a bag that if I go out and hike and I go out for a day, I want to be able to take camera gear, some snacks, extra stuff, rain gear, first aid kit, right? That kind of stuff. Camera bags normally are not designed for that. They don't add, there's day packs as we used to call them, which had a little slot in the top that you could put a lunch in and a coat, and that was about it. Well, Mindshift came out and then they got really popular. And what I love about this is called the Rotation 180. What's super cool about this is when I went to the Badlands, I could not get this bag. They were all sold out. That's when shortages with COVID started happening. They were selling out because people obviously are going outdoors more, that kind of stuff, and going into parks and so on and so forth. Couldn't get it. I found a used one on eBay and then found out that the pack on the bottom was missing, so I had to cancel it. So I bought an Osprey pack, which was a regular backpacker's, I'm going to go hike for 3 days and go out into the field and camp and hike, right? I'm not doing photography. And then I got a bag from Benro that went inside, so it held lenses and cameras, and then guess what I found out? What did I say about the backpack a minute ago? It's hard to have gear that's accessible, right? So this is meant for like backpacking plus having gear. But here's the kicker. I have all my gear, right? That little pouch at the bottom, it's the rotation part. It's got a magnetic clip on the back. My lenses and body and all that stuff's in that pouch down there. You unclip it. It rotates out as a fanny pack. Now I don't have to take the bag off, fixing the problem previously of guess what? I can't access my gear as easily, correct? So then it comes out. The other thing they did was most bags that have similar things like that, you would unzip it and it folds forward, right? That's stupid. Why does the lid fold forward? This one folds back. It's magnetic there too with a zipper. It's waterproofed. It's an awesome bag, but you're going to be at least about $300+ on a bag like this. But it's a very sturdy frame, like a backpacker's pack would too. It was very comfortable. I didn't have it for Badlands, but I got my hands on one because when I became a affiliate with Think Tank, they let me get one. And I took it and did some stuff for them when I was at Glacier. Loved it. Glacier that day, it was rainy. I had all this gear. It was in there. I had extra rain gear, that kind of stuff in the bag. So it's very easy, but I would say 90% of people, unless you're a very avid outdoorsman or lady, it's probably not needed. But it is a bag that it's well going to hold a lot of camera gear as well as other non-camera gear. But they also create an accessory now called the Stash Master. If you don't need a lot of extra like hiking gear, you're going out for the day, you can put some stuff in the top, but then there's a bag that goes inside that extends the camera holding or the bag holding capacity for gear. And then if you choose to get into that pouch, they made that pouch designed so when you take the bag off, this bag unzips in the back like a standard backpack would. Then when you get in, you don't have to take the whole pouch out the Stash Master. It unzips and then you can get it. Super Think Tank and Mindshift, they have literally bag designers that go through this and they think of this and people test it. That's why it's probably, I think, the best bag brand on the market. They actually use their noggins and come up with actually visually good bags. Plus, they're not pretty. I'll talk about a brand in a little bit that's pretty versus useful. Things like that. There we are. So roller bags. I love a good roller bag. Don't get me wrong. What's awesome is this is a bag like it's pretty much a bag with wheels, right? It's a roller bag. There's the Airport series from Think Tank. They're like Pelicans with wheels. My Nanook is a hard case. These could be a softer bag with the wheels on it. Most of them are a hard case. Awesome thing is they carry the largest volume of equipment very easily. You got a lot of heavy crap, goes in the bag, pulls it out like luggage, you pull it around, right? Awesome. It's very easy to transport if you're flying, if you're going. It offers a lot of protection as well. So you're not carrying anything. It's all just pull around. Super easy getting through airports. Love it. And it's also perfect for keeping all your gear in one bag and storing equipment when not in use. My Nanook case is under my other bag. The stuff I'm not always using stays in the Nanook roller case. It's awesome. Problem being with these is they're not well suited if you require more mobility. If I'm on a photo shoot, a portrait session, say do it in the city, right, in town in Cedar Rapids. Super easy. You roll it around, you got smooth surfaces. As a landscape guy, 99% of the time, you're not wheeling this puppy through the grass. You're not wheeling it up over rocks. It's just not made for that. To me, I could use this to transport a lot of my gear to a shoot if I was doing commercial work or to a session where I'm not moving around a lot, or if it's in a landscape sense. It's probably something where I had said to Tom early in the show that it sits in my front seat and I'm not hiking because you're not wheeling this down to Palisades or anything. But the other problem is they require somewhere secure to be left when no longer needed, right? If I need to go in somewhere, I'm not rolling this case in there. It needs to get locked up somewhere. My backpack, it just stays on my back, right? Super awesome. For long-term storage of gear, it's great for other things. If it's just going to sit around, it's just probably your most max protection on camera gear because I have no problem stacking other things on my Nanook case because it's a hard case. It's meant to protect. Now, one thing it's super is, I'll show you a picture here. Boom, there we are. This is one of the Airport series from Think Tank. Super nice. The one thing too with Think Tank and other good bags is, like I said early, that the wheels break, you can get replacement parts. I've seen people break the handle. You can get a whole handle replaced. But look, it's just like our backpack on the right side, but it's in a roller form. Now, they do make roller bags that are backpacks, that they have the straps built into a zipper. You unzip it, they pop out. But I will tell you, that's great for an airport. You get two of them. You get the roller case, and then you can carry it. Because sometimes people are just butts in airport and you can't weave in and out of people. You can throw it on your shoulders. Problem being, you're not going to go hiking with it. It's not that comfortable. It's a very short-term fix, right? The other thing that I like about the series from Think Tank is a couple things. They, oh yeah, Tom says, I use the Airport International for food photography. It's awesome to carry all your extras. Exactly. I've got an extra low pro roller bag that I carry my studio lights in. If I just taken one light stand or two light stands, I strap them to the side, and then both my studio heads and all my accessories go in a hard case, and it's a roller bag. And it's a lot easier than carrying that stupid bag I got from ProMaster. It's about as tall as me. It's like 5 foot long. It's like 1.5 feet deep. It's a huge bag. It's hard to carry. But I can literally take that roller bag plus my Nanook and take it around. And I do that a lot for my food shoots when I do them very rarely. The other thing that I love about is, right, we're going to travel with these bags, maybe by air. Who do we have to deal with? TSA. Think Tank has three things that come straight to my mind that are great. One, they have, when the zippers come together, they lock into a lock that you have a combination. So you cannot, A, get into it without the combination. B, in that lock is a TSA lock, so TSA can get into the bag if they need to. It's not like people who do get the old zipper, put the zippers together and padlock it. Things like that. The other thing is those bags, if I remember right, have a serial number. They are serial numbered. You can register that with Think Tank, and if you leave it somewhere and somebody reads the metal plate on the back, it says, hey, call this, give us the serial number, Think Tank can then contact you. I think that's super cool. I don't know of any other camera brand that does, or bag brand that does that. The other thing with their series is they used to do it, and I'm pretty sure they still do, is there is a built-in lock in the bag on a rope. It's a metal cable that you can wrap around at the airport at your, let's say I'm going to walk 10 feet and get a coffee. If I want to leave my bag there, I still wouldn't do it. But if you want, you can wrap it around and then lock it, and it's a steel cable, right? They think of those little things when most people don't. That's what I love about their roller bag, well, the airport series anyway. But again, the roller cases are awesome. The nice thing is, now we'll talk about the module systems, or ones that are just kind of like pieces and parts. I'll show you pictures, will make more sense in a minute. I also own this. Gives you the most mobility, the mobility. So you probably saw the photo I had. I think Think Tank did it when I did the Honor flight in May. I had the straps with the waist belt, and I had all the pouches. I took my regular bag. It got left on the bus, but I took all the crap out of there, put it on me, left it strapped, sit in the bus, got my cameras on me. I get off, I can take photos. I have all my lenses. It's very easy. I was very mobile. I wasn't pulling a bag, getting a backpack off, all this crap. I had lenses in pouches, extra batteries on my hip, memory cards in the large pouch, plus I had protein bars and all that junk, memory cards in one large pouch. It's all there. You have all these pouches that attach all over the place. You can move them around. I had a cell phone holder up here I could put my cell phone in. I was literally a mobile camera bag, and I didn't have to take that plus a bag and all this stuff. I could take a lens off, reach back, put the new lens on, put the other one over here. It's very easy to be mobile. Problem is, it's not ideal for transportation, right? I had to take another bag to transport the gear to DC. Then once I got to DC, thank God I'm being staff. I'm allowed to get off the plane first before other people got off, so I could go down and unload some stuff into my pouches before I started taking pictures and got to the bus, because I had to photograph going to the bus and off the plane and that stuff. So again, I could wear the backpack, had everything here, but it's not good. I couldn't just wake up that morning at 3 a.m., throw everything in the pouches and walk out the door and have things protected well. It's got a very limited capacity to carry. You're at the mercy of how many pouches you have, things like that. You can't carry all of your equipment either. There are some things I had to leave in the bag, and I was like, what am I probably not going to need? That stuff had to stay there. And you can't store your equipment when you come back home. You could. It's kind of pointless. It wouldn't be protected. But to show you the modular system, I've had this for years. It's very rare. I use it for weddings. and that kind of stuff. So it's this thing. You can put pouches all over. The problem is you gain weight, you got to buy a new belt. I lost all my weight. My belt was so damn big, it did not fit anymore, so I had to buy a new belt. The belts aren't cheap. The other problem I have with this system is if you do not buy the harness strap, it's a pain in the butt. Unless you get a belt so tight that it won't come down off your hips, then it's uncomfortable. If it's comfortable, it slides down over the right or the left side of you. You're trying to adjust it and you're pulling it up all the time. So this strap is like literally like suspenders. It keeps, and the other thing was nice is it takes all the weight, distributed it on my hip and my shoulders like the backpack. Most people probably aren't going to need this, but if you're photojournalists use this a lot. Well, some do. Oh, Becky says, do they have any with a quick access side access for a second camera? I will show you that here in a minute. So yes, some do. Let's jump into the next bag because I think some of these will. Oh, let me see something here. I can. Yeah. Okay. Let me jump ahead. Sorry. I gotta look at one thing. Oh yes, that's what I thought. I have something blocking it, and I have to go by my head. Sling bags. So, what's a sling bag? Well, it's like a backpack, but it's not a backpack. This is where Becky is like read my mind. So Becky says, do they have another like with a quick access, you know, or a side access for a second camera? A lot of sling bags do. Some of the backpacks do from Lowepro. They go on your back, and there's a side pouch. I would say most of these are probably on a sling bag. So what's a sling bag? Well, they're a hybrid. They're like a shoulder bag, but they're like a backpack. So they're going to sit on your back, A, like a backpack, but B, like a sling. There's only one strap. What's nice is it's here, and then you can swing it around, and then you got that access pouch that Becky's talking about that you can unzip, open up, get extra lenses out of, or that second camera body. You know, they're more comfortable for prolonged use, is what most will say. Out of all the camera bags, this is my least favorite. Only because now we're not distributing weight evenly across the shoulders and down. It's on one shoulder. So then you start to do this, and then you get wonky one way all day, and then you got to change over. I don't find them very comfortable. I don't. That's just my preference. Is what it is. But you can, like Becky asks, there's that second slot to get my stuff out. Yes, they're a lot more accessible to get stuff out. You can swing it around, get in it, take out what you need, swing it to the back. Or if you're in a crowd of people and you don't want your backpack here, regular backpack, got to hold it like this when I was getting onto the airplane, right, from the strap. Doesn't work. If I have a sling bag, I sling it around to my chest. I'm still hands-free. I can carry, I can walk, but it's right here. Especially if I'm in a big crowd and I don't want people to bump into me, I can swing it around right here. We'll talk about messenger bags or those in a minute. But the other thing is they're good for storing smaller amounts of equipment. You've got that huge backpack. You only need to take a lens or two and a body. Or maybe you just want to take one lens and the extra camera body. Those are perfect. Problem with this bag is I think outside of the whole comfortability issue on one shoulder only and then having to switch it and then this one hurts and you go back, is they have a much smaller capacity of bag, right? But that's one of the pros, though. You don't need, I mean, they make some bigger ones, but then they get heavy and back to the issue of being uncomfortable. So this is a newer style bag from Think Tank. These are seeing a big revamp, I've noticed. This looks like more like a shoulder bag. But again, these are ones that it looks like a shoulder bag there on the left, but you can wear it on your back. You can sling it around. Lowepro has a bunch too. I mean, everybody makes some form. I don't see these as much as I used to, but I don't know. But again, this would be a perfect style for you, Becky, if you're looking for something to have that a couple extra lenses and body. Then, come on. There we are. Shoulder bag, the most popular bag, right? The most. Oh look, I just put in some text that make no sense and forgot to update it. Oh well. So the pros to the shoulder bag. The big thing for me with a shoulder bag is they're smaller usually. They're, they're right here. They're very easy. They're very accessible. You can flip it up, get into stuff, flip it down. They're usually Velcroed, so they're hard to get into if somebody's going to walk by. What I don't like about them, though, is a con is that you open them up in a place and they go and they rip open. They're really loud. But Think Tank came up with a silencer system, which is little pieces that are already in there and they're nylon and they fold over. So it just flops over. So you open it up. There is no ripping of Velcro back and forth. And then they clip. So Connie says she dislikes the Pelican weight, but it is the best when traveling with a fully loaded vehicle and spouse is doing the packing. Gear is safe when it gets buried under lots of stuff. Yes. When I go on long road trips, the Nanook comes. That is my main platform of everything gets stored while traveling to and from destination. But when I'm there, I have some form of camera bag. The other nice thing with the pros of the shoulder bag is they're usually a little bit more affordable. Again, you can buy $100 one. I've got plenty of those. Some nice is like, let's say you've got it Velcroed and it's clipped. A lot of them now, some of them will have a zipper on top of the flap so you can unzip it and access everything from the bag. A lot of shoulder bags will also now have a slot for you to carry a laptop or an iPad Pro or an iPad Mini or some type of tablet. If you're into street photography, they're awesome. They look like a messenger bag. They don't usually scream camera bag. Things like that. What else? Some of the cons on them, again, it's back to that comfortability thing that they're all cross-bodied here. That hurts if you get a big one. You carry a lot of gear, it hurts. And then I got to flip it over. I'm a right-handed person, so I like it to be left shoulder so I can get in here, in and out. That's things like that. But this is probably, you'll see these called shoulder bags, messenger bags, so on and so forth. But they're one of those that's probably the most popular. Shoulder bags have been around for ages. Go back to the 80s, 70s, 60s, everything was a shoulder bag. Just like this, very simple. So the other thing is sometimes they'll have outside pouches. So the other thing I should mention with I don't think I've ever had a Think Tank bag yet that I bought that does not come with a rain pouch or a rain cover built in that you can take out and stretch over. A good quality bag usually has that as an accessory outside the fact that you don't have to buy. It's just built in, stretch it out over. Cheap bags usually don't have that, or if they do, they're such cheap, crappy material. They repel rain for about 15 seconds and then the bag gets soaked. That's another reason I like a Think Tank. I sound like a Think Tank fanboy. So choosing the right bag. Well, what do you choose, right? There's backpacks, there's roller bags, and there's Pelican roller cases, and there's Nanooks, and there's all these brands, and there's all these things, right? These are the things that I usually look for. One, style. So what am I going to probably like the best? That's going to work for a majority of what I do, right? And that's where activity comes in. What am I photographing? If I'm a hiker and I do landscape, I'm probably going to go to a bag that is more of a backpack. Maybe like the Rotation 180 series where I need to have it. I'm hiking a lot. Long day trips of hiking, right? Where I'm out all day or maybe overnight. If I'm just like a street shooter, I go out and photograph on the street, maybe it's a messenger bag. Or maybe it's a shoulder style, messenger / shoulder bag. That kind of thing. That's where you're going to look and say, what's going to work best? The other thing is, I'll talk about future last. Speed. How quickly do I need to access my stuff? If I'm a street photographer, a backpack would work. But if I need to get that second camera body that Becky's asking about or something out quickly, backpack's probably not going to be a thing. Maybe it's a crossbody. Maybe it's a messenger / shoulder bag. Then it comes down to, obviously, budget. How much do I want to spend? The bigger the bag, the more the thing, right? It's all things like that. But the big thing is travel. If I'm traveling a lot and I want to really protect my gear, maybe it is a roller bag, right? It's easier to pull around. But you have to think, if I've got a roller bag and I get to my destination, is that roller bag still going to work? So that's where people will do the backpacks that are like a day pack, where it's got that's their carry-on bag onto the aircraft. They carry everything, their laptop. That's what I've done. Things like that, and then it holds gear in other spots, so now you can travel with the roller bag, take it out, put it into a backpack. The big one is future proofing. It's hard to know what lenses we're going to buy in the future, but I always say if you think you need bag A, go with the next step up from A. Yes, you're going to have a lot of extra space, but guess what? You're going to spend 100 on, say, bag A and maybe 150 on bag B. Guess what you're going to do? Bag B is 150, bag A is 100. You buy bag B for $150, and now you future-proofed it to a point where you can buy more lenses, extra gear, put it in. Let's say you buy bag A for 100. Now you've outgrown it in 6 months. Some people have grown out in a couple months. Guess what? Now you got to buy bag B. Now you just bought a bag, really, in the end, for $250 and spent $50 more because you didn't future-proof it. Or you could have probably bought the third bag for $250, right? You know, you're going to find bags that you're going to outgrow. You're not going to always future-proof everything, right? You didn't realize that, oh, I need a 70 to 200 now. Things you shot 5 years ago, you're not photographing anymore. Say you do kids sports and you got all these bags set up for sports and now your kids graduated, or you don't have that certain gig that you used it all the time. It's stuff like that. So you got to look at style. You got to find out the activity you're shooting or what kind of activity you're doing with the bag. You got to future proof it. We need to look at budget. If you can't buy a $150 bag right now, that's fine. One bag is better than nothing if it's a $50 bag. But, you know, don't go out buying the Cadillac and the Rolls Royce of camera bags if you don't need it. And then how are you going to travel with it? How are you going to travel? It's a lot easier to travel by car, vehicle, truck, boat, whatever, than it is by airplane with a bag. And then speed. How quickly do we need to access this information? Or information, yeah, well, gear. Same thing. It's all information. So let's look at brands. These are ones that I popped right out of the top of my head for the most part. I love Think Tank. Not the cheapest. Best built, best quality, best thought process put into things. You've heard me preach that all night long so far. Lowpro's been around for years. I've had a lot of Lowpro bags. They're well built. They're great bags. They're about as pricey as any other camera bag these days. But I just never fell in love with them because there's always something missing. There's always that little thing. And then I always bought Lowpro before I bought Think Tank. And then I got into Think Tank. And sorry, now I'm a Think Tank fanboy, unfortunately. There's Tenba. I've got a couple Tenba bags. They are very nice bags. But they do a lot of shoulder bags, messenger bags for the most part. I haven't looked at their stuff in a long time, so they probably got a plethora of other things. I just don't find that they're built. They're good quality. They're good built quality bags. They're always missing something. I was always wanting something else out of the bags, but they're still high quality. If you want something that's usually a good quality bag, it's not going to break the bank, that it's a good starter bag or something you can grow into for a little bit. Affordability, ProMaster makes some nice. Their bags used to be not good. I will say that. They weren't good, but their new bags over the last several years are actually really nice now. So they're actually overall a good value. For good price, good quality for the most part, ProMaster. Manfrotto, they make bags. They're meant to make tripods, but pretty much I think what Manfrotto has done, somebody else is making their bags and slapping their logo on it. I probably found them out to be my least favorite camera bag. They weren't bad quality, but there was always missing something. There was always wishing, hoping, praying for something else. Then there's Peak Design, probably my least favorite. They started making camera straps. I can't poo-poo on them. I love their camera straps. It's one sitting over there on the shelf right now with the Z6 and 2 and the 7200. It's great. Awesome straps. I hate their camera bags. They're pretty. I'll talk about another pretty brand here in a minute. They're pretty and look modern and sleek. But I'm pretty sure I made when I worked at PhotoPro, the Peak Design rep probably cry on his way back home because he brought in his bag and I kind of ripped them apart and I said, they look pretty, they look awesome, but they're totally not functional. And they're god awful expensive. Now, some people will poo poo on me for what I just said but it is what it is. Peak Design, I thought, is better in their straps and their camera carrying systems. Now, one logo I did not add in here, carried them at PhotoPro for a long time. Kelly Moore bags. They're pretty bags. They are meant for the ladies. Not that that's a bad thing. I had a Kelly Moore bag. They had some out for a short time for males. They were a nice bag, but they're more prettier than useful. They remind me of the Instagrammers, like and the fall photographers who wear big hats and kind of thing. Not to like poo-poo on those people, but they're more for looks, is what I'm trying to say. They're more for style versus function, and they're god awful expensive, awfully expensive. They're probably about the price of Think Tank bags and a lot less function. But if you want to look pretty, there's your bag. But those are probably the big brands. I mean, there's a million brands out there, but those are the ones that always come to my mind, that if you bought a brand for anything I talk about, they're not going to be bad. They're not going to be dirt cheap, but they're all going to give you some value for your money. I'm not going to say there's pros and cons right to everything. So, my favorite bag, obviously it's Think Tank brands, right? It's Think Tank brands, but it depends. It depends what I'm shooting. That's why I have roller bags, backpacks, shoulder bags. If I go to the state fair, I don't take the backpack. I take a shoulder messenger bag. I take a couple lenses and a body. If I go long trip, hauling a lot of gear, commercial shoot, I'm taking lights. Those go in a roller bag. What I do is I have bags for certain purposes. One bag is, I don't believe that one bag fits all. I'm not going to take a messenger bag hiking Badlands National Park, Tim the Mind Shift Rotation 180. I'm not taking that bag to the state fair. A majority of my everyday carry bag is my Mind Shift bag over there. That is the backpack. It's got lots of pockets, zippers. It works well. It's grab and go. It's usually a backpack is my 90% everyday carry bag. When I get into going to, like when I went to DC, I took the modular system, right? All my bags have a purpose, is what I'm trying to say. I don't have one bag. Don't say you need 85 bags like I do. I've got several different backpacks. I've got different styles of backpacks. I could go on of the different styles and why I use certain ones. But again, that's my favorite one. It really just depends on what I'm doing. It's not always this one bag is going to be the cure-all of everything. So, but it's whatever I'm trying to shoot. So, as I wrap up for this evening, I guess I did talk a lot longer than I thought. Coming soon, lots of new things. So we'll just get into it. First and foremost, the Photographer's Lounge. God on earth, what is this, right? Develop your skills, refine your art. What is the Photographer's Lounge? Well, this will be a work in progress. This is going to be a tab, or it's kind of already a tab on my website. But I get lots of questions. Where do you print your stuff? What kind of camera gear do you have? What's your favorite bag? Who's your favorite photographer? All that. It's Photographer's Lounge. It's going to have lots of that information on a web page that you can go out. Where do you print your photos? ACI. Where do you buy your gear? Paul's Photo. It's all going to be there. Under the Photographer's Lounge, though, is I'm going to also have a tab for on-the-go guides. These are going to be guides I'm going to slowly create. Like, there's one on there right now, like 5 tips, I think, for night photography. They're going to be little cards you can print wherever you want. Put in your camera bag. I'm going to build those as I come across them, or as they kind of pop up. So it's just going to be kind of an educational thing. The more I think about 2024, it's going to be more education. I'm going to lives. I'll talk about another educational opportunity. I really probably going to try to ramp up classes, virtually and in-person workshops in 2024. They're going to be affordable, but all that's going to fall under kind of the Photographer's Lounge-ish kind of thing. But so that's going to be fun. It's going to be, I want education. I was thinking, what do I want to do? Do I love taking pictures? Yes. For people, of things? Yes. Is as much as I want to sell prints, it just doesn't. It's a lot of work for a very low return at some point. I don't know. I love teaching, as everyone knows. I'd rather take the knowledge of me going out and making mistakes and me editing things. Like I've got some stuff written down for classes, 1 hour classes that are going to be like less than $20 that will be online. All this is going to be able to be purchased on my website. I kind of pissed at myself. I was working on a Foundations of Photography cheat sheet that turned into a 25-page guide. I somehow deleted it. It's gone. So I'm going to start that project over someday. I don't know how soon, but it's going to be like an ebook eventually if I ever get around to it, or I'm hoping it's just don't know where in the hell it went. So the more I talk about it, the more I get upset about it. So I'm not going to talk about it. But Photographer's Lounge is going to be something. It's just going to be kind of building things like that. The next thing I'm going to start working on is the Photographer's Notebook. Well, what the hell is this? It's a blog in a sense. I tried the podcast. I love the podcasting. The problem with the podcast is it's a 1-to-1 ratio. If I record for an hour, it's at minimum an hour of editing and then posting and all that crap. I love doing it, don't get me wrong. But it's a lot of work. I don't know. It's kind of like the live. I'd rather do the live. It's like, this is pretty much like an audio visual podcast in a sense, but I just don't edit this. It's all me, right? There's no mess ups. But the Photographer's Notebook is going to be on my website. It's a blog. I'm going to do it 1 to 2 times a month. I would love to do it weekly, but if I'm going to overstretch myself with that, and then when I don't get it done, then it's just going to fall to the wayside and it's going to be just a mess. So the Photographer's Notebook is just going to be a place where I'm going to try to break it down into categories. So it's kind of be where I got a whole notebook full of crap. I'm going to try to build it down into categories like on the road. Like when I'm on the road will be a series of a post that it'll be kind of like behind the scenes shots, right? Things that it's photographic related, but I might kind of turn it in that part into kind of like a travel, like, hey, I went to Prairie du Chien and this is the locations I photographed, or these are cool places you can go at Devil's Lake State Park. And kind of like a quick day thing, like, you want to go to Devil's Lake State Park in Wisconsin? Here's some photos I've done there before. This is where I ate lunch. This is where I stayed the night. It's kind of like a travel guide to photo locations, maybe. I'm going to do quick little, maybe like a video. I wanted this to actually be a video blog where I would just kind of like create a YouTube video where I could cross-prop post things. But then I got to change the website up a lot, and that costs more money. To be honest. So I'm just going to leave it at that until I figure it out. But it's just going to be a blog, really. I'm going to have tips, behind the scenes photos, little tidbit thoughts. Some of the other stuff I've thought of is with some of those ideas is, come on, where are they at? Oh, like having a blog is just a real short, like 5 essential landscape accessories and little blurbs on why on each. I just wanted, so if you're not on the podcast or the live, or it's just start creating a blog, really. I don't know. I've always wanted to blog. I like to write in a sense. The more I've done some writing for some other things, some blog posts for Think Tank, I really like it. I enjoy it. Sometimes if I have a thought, I can come out and type it. Things like that. So Photographer's Notebook is pretty much a blog. Long story short, I'm going to have some fun with that. Just so you can kind of see some behind the scenes stuff. It's just another way. And then I'll post those blogs to my Facebook page. The next one. This one will be interesting. The way I do things sometimes is I feel like things for me need to be done when it don't leave here. I have lots of things, literally thousands and millions of things that bounce between these 2 ears every day, all day. A lot of them fly out both sides of my head, out of the ears, but things that get stuck in there and things and things and things. And I'm like, you know, like then I start to think. So I actually became a member of Patreon for a guy called Zach Cohen. He actually is a low calorie, high protein recipe guy. I hate trying to think of what I need to eat for the week and meal prep. So for $5, I get all access to his stuff. This is a membership site. I'm going to be honest. There's different levels you can do, blah, blah, so on and so forth. This is a very bare bones thing. I don't know what I'll do for sure. What I'm trying to do is keep this very affordable. This is a monthly thing you could subscribe to if you want. I'm thinking of a $5, a $10, and a $20 fee. It's per month. You can cancel anytime with Patreon. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. But one of them is, I know a lot of people want education, and I know $65 an hour for my one-on-one time is not always the most affordable for people. And I understand that. So I'm trying to think is how do I get to everybody who maybe don't need a full hour or they can't afford a full hour of one-on-one with me. And I hate that. I hate to not be able to help people. So Patreon, I was thinking is that you could subscribe for $5. So what? That's $100-ish a year. I'm bad at math. But you could cancel anytime. But the $5 would be, you get certain perks at that. And then as you go up, there's more perks and so on and so forth. But one of those things I thought would be a $5 a month. We meet once a month online in a group via a kind of like a Skype format, Google Meets that you would get the link to. And you could bring a couple of questions to ask for $5. That's a freaking steal of a deal, right? So it's things like that. I just want to try to, I hate monetizing things, to be honest. But I have to at a point because all this stuff, this education stuff costs money and I got to pay for it somewhere. I'm not here to quit my day job and do this and make $1 million. I'm really not. I just want this to kind of pay for itself kind of thing. I don't want everybody else's money to be able to help me make oodles of money so I can lay here on the floor and roll around in cash. Really, that's not what I want to do. But time's money, right? I guess. But long story short, Patreon will be a membership thing. I know some people say photographers hate memberships, but I want it to get value. And if you don't find value, you just opt out that forever again or whatever. So I got to really, really think hard about how I'm going to do this part. But this is in a way an extension of education that is a lot more affordable than $65 an hour kind of thing. So I think I'm kind of excited for it. I thought maybe I'll do like maybe some videos here and there that you would get monthly on a topic or something that you only get on Patreon that we wouldn't get. Or maybe it's you can come to the live now, but we'll go more in depth on a topic with Patreon. I don't know. There's a million ideas I got to research. But so Photographer's Lounge, the Photographer's Notebook, and Patreon. Those are 3 new things, classes. The more I think about it, this is a lot of stuff, but I don't know. It's going to keep me busy and excited, hopefully. So, all that new stuff. So hopefully you guys are interested in some of that stuff. So coming up, photographing without expectations. I'm going to talk about, not having, or wait, I already did that. Why did I put that in there? Oh, sweet Jesus. It's been a long week. It really has. Work stuff. But photographing the state fair, and this is another change I want to make to Late Night Exposures, is Chuck Kimmerly is so gracious to come onto the show, and we're going to talk about black and white photography. Go check out his stuff. It's beautiful. I love his stuff. But one of the changes I'm going to try, I would love to bring on one photographer a month, somebody that's not me, or kind of like an interview format, so we're not just talking and you listen to me drone on for hours. So that is all I have tonight. Oh, the other thing I'm going to mention too, I'm actually going to upgrade my software of the streaming to be able to have a lot more capabilities now, to be able to like share other videos I may find, so on and so forth, things like that. So that's going to be super cool, but that probably won't be for another month or so until I get some kinks worked out, figured that out. There's one other thing that popped in my head with that. I don't remember. Oh well, they'll come back later. But as always, if you guys do want to support the show, don't feel necessary you have to, but you can scan the link up top. That's all I got to say about that. The other thing is, as always, thank you guys. I now know why we only have 3 people on tonight is because Facebook disconnected. So is what it is. I'll post this on Facebook for everybody to rewatch later. So again, thank you guys very much for your support as always. Becky, Connie, Tom, everybody, and everybody else who usually shows up, but probably didn't get the notification from Facebook. So awesome. You guys have a great night. I will see you all next week. You know where to find me if you have questions. So, you are welcome, Corey. Thank you. And then obviously Coffee and Clicks is going to keep going as well in the future. So that's another educational opportunity that is free. So you are welcome, Connie. So I will see you all guys next week or in between. Who knows? Maybe I'll run into you at the grocery store. So you guys all have a good, hand pink waving, Corey. So awesome. Well, you guys have a good evening, and I will see you all next week. And hopefully next week we won't have Facebook connection issues.